What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with macro data, we do have some that's coming out this evening that will really impact a lot of Chinese stocks come tomorrow. So we have industrial production, retail sales, unemployment. So of course, those are some pretty hot ones. So again, that'll really influence tomorrow. Aside from that, and especially for the rest of the week, there's not really anything of significance. So it is going to be largely piggybacking off of the broader market as well as its own technicals. And their technicals is kind of iffy. So it could go either way. So I'll go over that near the end of the video. Specific to NIO, there hasn't really been that much in kind of official news or any SEC filings. Over the weekend, you do see a couple, videos of the ES9 being tested. So this is slated for, I believe, the first half of 2026. So that should be a pretty big thing. I think current estimates are roughly around 10,000 units per month. So that would be another good kind of big thing for NIO. But aside from that, there really hasn't been that much kind of things popping out over the weekend. So it is, again, going to be largely linked to technicals. One thing to take note of, though, is a lot of people are going to be paying attention to Japan, especially on Thursday. So we do have, or they do have, their interest rate decision. And they are pretty much one of the only countries that have kind of kept their interest rates low this whole time. So the market's going to be seeing this as more of a liquidity pinch, because if they start to raise their rates, which I think it is anticipated that they're going to be continuously raising throughout 2026 and potentially even 2027, that is going to cause a big market rotation out of American bonds, which of course is going to really even further strap the equity market more than what has been happening. Because even for those of you that kind of pay attention to a lot of my videos, I always bring up this. So this shows more of a broader rotation between crypto, money market, and equity. And lately, there's been a lot of money leaving both crypto and equity to go to money markets because there's a lot of fear. And plus, in general, if there is going to be starting to have rate cuts from Japan, multiple, then you're going to see a even further rotation occur. And so even though NIO has been getting somewhat low volume, that might be kind of the tip of the iceberg. So it is going to be a lot of volatility come Friday, because Thursday evening, that's when this data point does come out, the interest rate decision. So that's going to really affect Friday. So Friday is going to be a fun day overall. Aside from that, these are some of the companies putting out their earnings. So we do have Micron, Nike, and FedEx. Those are going to be kind of the hot ones to pay attention to. No different than what happened with Oracle as well as Broadcom. Their future guidance, that might be kind of the make it or break it point for the stock. And plus, again, dependent on how things play out, it could really impact the broader market. So anticipate a lot of volatility at the end of the day. Going into this upcoming week, 7.59% of the free float is being shorted. Works to be 154.74 million shares overall are being shorted. On Friday, shorts did return 451,000 shares, and that was more so in the second half of the trading day. So I do believe that they tried to hit it hard, because for those of you that kind of watched my Friday video, which was roughly around here, I said, don't be surprised if shorts try to really push it lower, sub $5. And they tried, but it didn't really work out too well. So they kind of gave up and they returned a lot right here. But going into this upcoming week, anticipate them to be fairly active. So again, I think lately they've been making up a solid about 50 to even 55% of the daily volume. So I think institutions really need to see some value with NIO or something. If not, NIO is going to continue to trend down, because even on Friday, there was absolutely zero transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So not necessarily the best. So it kind of signals that institutions don't really want anything to do with NIO, despite its fairly low multiple that it does have. Looking at the options, so the bulls feel that it is going to be between that, looks like 5 to 550, even as high as 6 or above 6. Bears are anticipating for it to be pretty much between that 450 and 5. So definitely there is more upside than down, but again, I think NIO, where it did land on Friday, it's kind of, the technicals look a little bit iffy, more than what actually has already happened already. But Basically, with it closing at 503, that does mean that the 5 and below strike prices are considered in the money. So you do have 9,000 at that 5, 1,000 at the 450. Most likely, this is why you did see this very abnormal transaction on the dark pool after hours Friday. That was market makers just covering those options. So you did have a $1.68 million transaction. And so again, most likely that was them covering. Looking forward into this upcoming week, you have 8,000 at that 5, 26,000 at the 550, 21,000 at that 6. So if NIO, for whatever reason, is able to kind of build up some good momentum, then you could see a nice little gamma squeeze rolling into, I guess, the following week. But still, it's all going to come down to the data and the momentum. Aside from all of that, with it at 503, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So this is the 1-day chart. So for those of you that want a dollar cost average, swing trade, and so forth, just kind of watch for these. So 480, 464, and then 437 as strong support points. And when NIO was really looking kind of sketchy and it was starting to really go down, this general area, this S2, was that saving grace. So we do know that this is a strong support. So if you're wanting to kind of orient a lot of your buys, I would say that would be a safe bet. But again, you guys do whatever floats your boat. If we do see some good momentum, 507, 533, and then 550 is going to be the next strong target / resistance points. Aside from that, on the actual chart, this is what I'm talking about, how it is sketchy-ish. So we do have that 10 and also that 200-day moving averages kind of converging, and both of them are basically around that 504, 503 range. So NIO did close below both of those. Doesn't mean it's down and out just yet. You do need 2 consecutive days to really signal kind of a trend, but still, I think NIO really needs to hopefully put something out. I know the market really does favor any launches as well as demand type of things. So if they somehow put that out, then you could see maybe some institutions buying that up and really keeping it above that general range. But if it is going to stay below that, then anticipate more of a retest of that 473, which was the most recent low. And then again, if that does fail to hold that 464, I think it was, that strong support level, then you could see more further downside. So it's definitely needs to stay above this general range. If not, yeah, like I said, you're going to see some consolidation. But looking at the market position, like I said, it's not down and out. You see some strong kind of willing sellers up until roughly around that 520. But if NIO is able to put something out, get above that 520 range, you could see kind of a push higher to roughly around that 570. But it's largely dependent on kind of them putting out news. So let me know your general thoughts on NIO. I think this week is going to be a fairly volatile week, so you can kind of see a lot of kind of fib levels being hit, multiple ones. So for those of you that are day traders and swing traders, this week will be a good week for you. But one thing to take notice though is because of the recent price action over the last couple of trading days, you see stochastic RSI at 84, so it is arguably considered overbought, as crazy as that sounds. So let me know your thoughts on NIO. Are you planning on buying more? Are you selling? What's your honest opinion on NIO? And then one final thing, pop over to my stacked account. I just made this roughly around a couple weeks back, and I do have a weekend promotion where I lowered it down to $5 a month. So it will never increase for you. Just get in before, I guess, end of Sunday. And then you get some killer swing trades on there. So many stocks that I've been putting out have been going up like crazy. So definitely worthwhile to kind of pop over there and check that out. Link in the description below and also the comments. Or if you want, I do have roughly 101 members at this all buy signal. So if you're looking for more broader market kind of stuff, day trades included, everything, definitely check that out as well. So with all that said, appreciate all of you watching.